to be part of the panel this morning at this Interfaith End of Year celebration, and it is indeed an honour to be here. So let me begin by making it known that my predominant interfaith connection is through involvement with the Progressive Christianity Network of South Australia. And one of the goals of PCNet, I have a postcard here which has the goals of PCNet, and one of the goals is to affirm the contributions of all faiths. So in a sense, PCNet has a multi-faith aspect to it. And certainly that aspect is expressed in all our activities. For the past 4 years, our major activity has been the Seminary of the Third Age, which some of you might know about, a program which offers opportunities to explore and reflect on questions of faith and spirituality for the 21st century. We have offered 16 presentations each year for the last 4 years, either as a gathering or as an online session, depending on COVID restrictions. Each year the presentations have typically included interfaith dimensions. For example, in 2020, and this is the brochure for the presentations, the October sessions focused on perspectives of the multi-faith world. And these presentations included a presentation by Professor Muhammad Abdullah on what Islam can offer today's world. And we also had a session by Rabbi Shoshana Kaminsky on Judaism today. Now, Shoshana is speaking next. For those who may be interested, I will leave in the foyer on the table one of our postcards showing the goals of progressive Christianity and a couple of brochures for the last 2 years, 2020 and 2021, showing you the kinds of sessions that we have. Now, getting to the topic for today, and Damien suggested that I might like to speak on we are closer together, or we are stronger together. And I will approach this in a very indirect way. I have always had an interest in gardening, and as the introduction said, since retiring, I have many more opportunities to be involved in gardening activities. For example, I have joined the Cactus and Succulents Society of South Australia, and I never cease to be amazed at the great variety of succulents. Different shapes, different textures, and different coloured plants. They can be green or grey or even nearly black, and even red leaf. The diversity is amazing. And I belong to the Geranium and Pelargonium Society of South Australia, and I never cease to be amazed at the great variety of geraniums, a kaleidoscope of flower colours, a spectacular display of plants with different coloured leaves, and a stunning array of scented pelargoniums, such as peppermint, lemon-scented and citronella geraniums to keep mosquitoes away. Again, the diversity is amazing. And I also belong to the Ferns Society of South Australia, with ferns showing an amazing diversity. It is estimated that there are 10,560 species of ferns, ranging from very tiny ferns, the adder's tongue ferns, the size of a fingernail, up to large tree ferns that can grow to 25 metres high. Now, in each of these groups of plants, there is extensive variety, and I am highlighting this, labouring this, because I want to relate it to the great variety of humankind on the planet, a great diversity of races and places throughout the world that they inhabit. But regrettably, the great diversity amongst human beings is most often not celebrated as a source of awe and wonder, but is often a source of conflict, of discrimination and disharmony. For example, differences in race, in ability or disability, differences in opinion, in politics, in faith positions, differences in ethnicity, in gender and in sexuality are often sources of serious conflict and disagreement. The current practices in the world across all kinds of differences are so far removed from the essence of being a faith community that this is a major shortcoming of society in general and faith communities in particular. And when we think of all the conflicts in the world, even in our own communities, all the polarisations, we as a multi-faith association have an onerous task to act as agents of reconciliation, as ambassadors for peace, creating an inclusive, welcoming community for people of diverse faiths. In preparing for today, I read a poem, a great statement by Gunga White, a yoga teacher. And in this statement he says, and you may have heard it, but it's a statement worth repeating, what if our religion was each other? If our practice was our life? If prayer our words? What if the temple was the earth? If forests were our church? If holy water the rivers, lakes and oceans? What if meditation was our relationships? If the teacher was life? If wisdom was self-knowledge? If love was the centre of our being? What a great statement. And I also read an article by Brian Weiner, who provides commentary on that statement from Gunga White. On the one hand, he applauds the sentiments expressed in this statement as he seeks to discover for himself the essence, the common values enshrined in different faith positions, which would ultimately lead to seeing the world through the commonality of one earth and of one humanity. But on the other hand, he decries the daily practices that are so disparate from common faith values that they lead to conflict and discord. In this context, he says, the only way I can find my own peace with any of this is to continue to share wisdom from wherever I find it. I work to change the planet one thought at a time. and I hope that my simple work spreads so that others might eventually find their way into a more harmonious existence with one another. And he concludes his article with the immortal words of John Lennon. You might say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. Stronger together. Thank you. And I'll put a few copies of Gangawhite's poem and that article by Brian Weiner on the foyer, on the table in the foyer, if you'd like to collect them as you leave. Thank you.